Before we formally define what is an array, let us consider first the following problem. We want to write a Java program that reads 5 numbers, finds their sum, and prints the number in reverse order. If you have learned how to read numbers, print them, and find their sum in Java, it would be easier for you to construct the codes. Basically, the following program accomplishes this task. This program works fine. However, to read 100 or more numbers and print them in reverse order, you would have to declare 100 or more variables and write many Java input and output statements. But, in order to do this easily, we have what we call an array. An array is a collection or sequence of a fixed number of variables called elements or components, wherein all of the elements are of the same data type. Whereas, a one-dimensional array is an array in which the elements are arranged in a list form. The general form to declare a one-dimensional array is the following. Since in Java, array is considered as an object, then the array name in the general form of one-dimensional array is known as a reference variable. So, before we can store data, we must instantiate the array object. In order to do this, we have the general syntax to instantiate an array object. The int xp is any expression that evaluates to a positive integer and also specifies the number of elements in the array. You can also combine the general form and general syntax of one-dimensional array, which would look like this. This line of code is typically used to create arrays to manipulate data. Now, let us have this statement. This statement declares and creates the array num consisting of 5 elements. Each element is a type of integer or int. The elements are accessed as num0, num1, num2, num3, and num4. We can also illustrate the array num using this figure. There are alternate ways to declare an array. Java allows you to declare array as follows. Here, the operator open and close brackets appears after the identifier list, not after the data type int. We can also declare two arrays. We have here array gamma and delta. Let us also know how to access an array element. The general form or syntax used to access an array element is the following, where index xp is called the index, which is an expression whose value is non-negative integer less than the size of the array. The index value specifies the position of the elements in the array. In Java, the array index starts at 0. Also, the open and close bracket is an operator called the array subscripting operator. Let us then consider the following statement. This statement declares an array list of 10 elements. The elements are list 0, list 1, list 2, until list 9. In other words, we have declared 10 variables of type integer. We can also illustrate array lists using this figure. We also have what we call the assignment statement, just like this example, wherein it stores 34 into list 5, which is the 6th element of the array. We can illustrate it using this figure. Suppose I is an integer variable. Then the assignment statement lists 3 equal to 63 is equivalent to the assignment statements I is equal to 3, list I is equal to 63. If I is equal to 4 and the assignment statement is list 2 times I minus 3 equals to 58, then it will be considered that the statement stores 58 into list 5 because 2 times I minus 3 evaluates to 5. The index expression is evaluated first, giving the position of the element in the array. Next, consider the following statements. List 3 is equal to 10. List 6 is equal to 35. And list 5 is equal to list 3 plus list 6. The first statement stores 10 into list 3, the second statement stores 35 into list 6, and the third statement adds the content of list 3 and list 6 and stores the result. We can illustrate this using this figure. We can also specify an array size during program execution. So let us consider the following program. This statement in line 1 initializes the array size variable. Line 2 asks the user to enter the size of the array when the program executes. The statement in line 3 inputs the size of the array into array size, and during the program execution, the system uses the value of the variable array size to instantiate the object list. Like any other primitive data type variable, an array can also be initialized with specific values when it is declared. For example, the following Java statement declares an array, sales, of 5 elements and initializes those elements to specific values. Now, let us consider the following. The initializer list contains values called initial values that are placed between braces and separated by commas. These values are 12.25, 32.50, 16.90, 23, and 45.68. And finally, the instance variable length in array. Let us recall that an array is an object. Therefore, to store data, the array object must be instantiated. Now, let us consider the following declaration. This element creates the array list of 6 elements and initializes the elements using the values given. So, list.length is 6. Again, consider the following statement. This statement creates the array num list of 10 elements and initializes each element to 0. Because the number of elements of num list is 10, the value of num list dot length is 10. Now, consider the following statements. These statements store 5, 10, 15, and 20 respectively in the first 4 elements of num list. Even though we put data into only the first 4 elements, the value of num list dot length is 10 and the total number of array elements.